Hi Dwayne, here is my diabetes registry presentation. So as you can see, I created four tables, one called patient, one called provider, one called clinic, and one called health stats. So in patient, I did a patient ID, which is an integer. It's the primary key. I experimented using the auto increment function. It didn't really work out that well. So clearly I don't really understand how that works when I'm inserting data was where I got stuck. That is a unique key as well. Last name I did a varchar 50 characters, figured that would be enough. I did not want that to be null, so I chose not null. I did first name, another varchar with 50 characters, again not null. Mailing address with varchar of 150 characters, not null. City, varchar 50, not null. State, character 2, not null. Zip, varchar 10, not null. Phone number, varchar 20, not null. Date of birth, which is a date, not null. Race, which is a varchar 50, not null. Gender, which is an enum of either M or F for male or female, obviously, and not null. And occupation, which is a varchar 150, not null. Then I did the health stats table, which there's a lot of information in that one. It took me a really long time to actually enter all the information. But here I had patient ID again as an integer and the primary key and a unique field. Height is an integer, not null. Weight, an integer, not null. BMI, an integer, not null. The type of diabetes, varchar 2, not null. I debated making that an enum, but I decided to just leave it a varchar of 2. HbA1c level, an integer, not null. Systolic blood pressure, an integer, not null. Diastolic blood pressure, an integer, not null. Appointment date, which is a date field, not null. Provider ID, integer, not null. Family history, enum, yes or no, not null as well. Current meds, varchar of 100, not null. That's probably, actually looking back at it, probably not enough characters based on the amount of meds that somebody with diabetes would likely be on. I had a fasting glucose column, an integer, not null. A pre-meal glucose column, integer, not null. Post-meal glucose, integer, not null. Then I had the provider table where I used the provider ID as the primary key. It's an integer. Again, I tried the auto increment and that it's unique. Did not work out well. So I need to figure out why that is. I had provider last, which is a varchar of 50, not null. Provider first, varchar 50, not null. License number, integer, not null. DEA number, integer, not null. And unique. DEA numbers are assigned to doctors and they are unique numbers. NPI number, integer, not null, also unique. Same thing as the DEA. They are individualized and unique to every physician. Clinic ID, integer, not null. And provider type, varchar 50, not null. Mostly with any text fields, I chose varchars because that makes the most sense for a text field. Anything that I wanted to be a number, I used an integer. My final table is the clinic table, and I had the clinic ID, which is an integer and the primary key. The clinic name, which is a varchar of 100, not null. The clinic city, varchar of 50, not null. And the clinic state, character of 2, not null. I also, here's where my links are. I made an EER diagram of every table and how they're linked together. So as you can see, the patient and the health stats are related through the patient ID, and the health stats and the provider are related through the clinic ID as well as the provider ID. And the provider table is linked to the clinic through the provider ID and the clinic ID. So that's that. I did add, you'll see my massive list of things that I did right and wrong. I did create the database. I created all the tables. I ran into a few error codes and sort of had to do some problem solving about why I was getting errors on those. Um, Further down here, here's where I started. I did some test runs. So I did one value into each of my tables, trying to make sure that my inserts were working. I had one snafu where I figured out what that problem was. And then I started inserting values. So you can see I had a few things that I needed to fix in the provider table, and then I fixed them and entered 20 providers into that table. I entered 20 clinics into the clinic table. Then I sort of ran queries on each one just to make sure that I had actually uploaded all of the numbers that I needed. So you can see I did provider here, and I had 21 rows. Clinic I had 19, so I added one later. Patient I didn't have any at that point. And then I started trying to add in the patient into the patient table, and you can see I had a few errors there. And then I figured it out and got all 20 of those guys entered. And then I did the health stats, and that one was a little bit more successful, it seems. I didn't have too many issues with that. And again, I sort of checked to make sure that my health stats had gone in, and I have 20 rows in there. So that's my presentation. I will say this was hard work. Writing all the code was difficult for me. I made lots of errors, but ultimately I was able to problem solve. And you were right. I feel like I do understand this a little bit more than I think I do. So it was really cool. I'll be anxious to do the querying part and see if I actually am understanding that as well. Thank you so very much.